Welcome back to the Vera House podcast. Thanks for being here. We're doing a special Halloween episode. As you can see, we're dressed up in our Sunday finest spooky villain costumes. We wanted to do something special for you because we're having a lot of fun doing this. We recently just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. One of our videos is actually about to hit 1 million views, and that is all thanks to you and your support. And for us being able to put a lot of time and energy into this and making it fun. You know, we're really stoked that you guys are here and supporting us, and we're having a good time doing it.
Yeah, it's honestly been great, you know, and not to sound like too cliche, but I think as entrepreneurs, you always try to like imagine this feeling of doing work that doesn't feel like work. And don't get me wrong, we do plenty of work outside of this, but when we come in here and we sit down to have these conversations, it doesn't feel like work. Clearly, I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
This has been so much fun. And although, you know, followers and likes and all that stuff, you know, it's a little bit outside of reality, and it doesn't carry like that much meaning, but it's a reminder that there's a reason for what we do, and that people are enjoying it the same way that we are, and that people are learning fun little tidbits and having conversations with us. And, you know, I think we had a pretty clear vision of what we wanted this to be, and to see it come to fruition and become a real thing is a lot of fun. And yeah, today's episode is a great example of that.
Yeah.
We talk about a bunch of like fun, spooky, scary stories and weird experiences and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, I had a great time, man. We did a little live stream as well. So if you were tuned into that, really enjoy it. And we talked about some personal spooky experiences, things that, you know, I haven't told a lot of people, but just some spooky, scary experiences that we've had. And then also some pretty crazy, real documented cases of spook and spirits in Richmond, which was scary and cool and scary at the same time. So it's a good one.
Coming into this episode, we wanted to do a special episode for Halloween. We wanted to make it fun, which I think we've done. And tonight we're going to be telling some fun stories about Richmond. And we wanted to live stream the episode. So here we are. And hopefully everybody loves our costumes.
Yeah.
I am a hodgepodge of an executioner.
Yeah.
You are...
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom, yeah. I was going to say MF Doom.
It's both. He is Dr. Doom, and MF Doom is Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom is MF Doom.
I like it.
Yeah.
So MF Doom is a DJ?
MF Doom is a rapper.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like know that name.
Yeah. Oh, he's sick. He's a great rapper.
I'm like, I do like, okay, so like from what era?
Oh, man. 90s, late 90s.
Okay.
I want to say late 90s is like when he came on the scene.
That's what I figured. It was like because I feel like I've heard that name like a million times.
He was very much like an underground, in the streets, like cypher rapper. And then he like would wear this mask and a hood, or like this mask and a Yankees cap because he's from New York.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just became known as, you know, MF Doom, and he's the guy that wears the Doom mask.
Yep.
Yeah, wears it on stage and everything.
It's a sick mask.
Yeah, it's good. Dr. Doom, man, he's a Marvel character. He's not in any of the movies yet, but the next movie that comes out, he's going to be in it.
Okay, that's sick.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So do you know the backstory of like the character at all?
Yeah. So Dr. Doom is the villain to the Fantastic Four. And the Fantastic Four was the first superhero team that Marvel created. You know, like the superhero family.
Yeah.
You know, brother, sister, husband, best friend. And Dr. Doom is their like arch nemesis. He's just a guy who lived in a made up country called Latveria. And I don't remember exactly how he gets all these powers, but he gets all these powers. He rules over his country, and he torments the Fantastic Four.
I like it. That's cool.
It is very cool.
In a similar vein to how I am with movies, I've never it's like I don't know any of the old classics, but I know a lot of the new stuff, especially the new shows and series. And like you mentioned, Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and all that stuff. I know all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar with music, like I like some old, I love like Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. But especially when it comes to rap music, I just know the basics, right? It's like, yeah, I know Biggie and Tupac and Nas and all that, right?
Yeah.
But that's like the extent of my kind of like old school OG rap music knowledge. But I actually oddly know a ton about like a lot of the new school rap music, which many people hate, which I totally understand. I feel like rap music now, especially like the beats just go so hard.
Yeah.
Like the actual production of the music is amazing. But yeah, I don't listen to it as much as I used to. Maybe I'm getting old.
Maybe. You got to dig into MF Doom. The beats, his beats were killer. But back then, it was hip hop and rap. And like the beats were like different, right? So like the production wasn't as like crispy. But that's why the beats were good, because they were like raw, sampled. They were like usually played from the record that they sampled, and like the DJ was just mixing it up live. It was awesome. And as someone who likes good music, I definitely think you would dig it.
I don't doubt it, man.
Yeah.
Well, I will be sure to listen to the discography of MF Doom.
There you go.
Report back.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's a happy Halloween. It's a very special Halloween episode.
Yeah, it is special. I have a long list of subjects in which to rule over. So if we can get through this, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're going to try our best. I'm basically just breathing in my own, my own air.
Yeah. There's not a lot of breathing room in the masks these days. This actually reminds me of when I was a kid. You wear a costume that you kind of like hodgepodge together, and then you just buy a mask, and you're mask guy, like no real plan for your costume. Yeah.
Fair enough. I like it, man. I like all the historic, like weird, conspiracy, old, historic stuff.
Yeah. I like, well, this time of year for sure, a lot of the spooky stories start to come out, and, you hear more people talking about ghosts and spirits and spooks and apparitions, whether they were like at home or like at grandma's house on vacation, or even in the park here in the city, or like at somebody's like old Churchill house or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big, I like a good horror movie once every now and then if it's done well, and love a suspenseful like thriller, but I don't go hunting for scary stories.
I don't really watch scary movies. I watched a movie the other day called Heretic, and I thought it was just kind of like a weird thriller movie. And then like halfway through, it turned into this very strange horror movie. Like the first 45 minutes of the movie was great, and then it just got very weird and strange. And I couldn't not finish it because I started it, so I saw it through, and it was just a little bit of a strange movie.
Yeah.
But I don't often watch horror movies, and I haven't even dressed up for Halloween the past couple of years.
Oh yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
You're an adult cosplayer is basically what it is. It's no longer wearing a costume. It's cosplay.
I'm glad to be here. You know? I'm glad to be here in full, whatever you call this.
You're the executioner.
Yeah, I like it. What do you normally dress as for Halloween?
I mean, normally is kind of a stretch. I wouldn't say I'm a regular cosplayer, but the last couple of years I did get kind of into it. I think last year I did two, because I reused one from the year before. And the year before I was Lord Corlys from House of Dragons.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. Big fan, and, crowd favorite. And then last year I did it again for like a costume party. And then the second night I was Marty McFly, just because that's one of my favorite movies.
Nice.
Yeah, a little Back to the Future.
I have seen that movie, not in a long time.
I keep forgetting there's a lot of movies that you just haven't seen.
Yeah, you got to be careful, dude, because often I haven't seen them.
Yeah, it's going to trip me. I mean, we're going to sit down with the long list, the list that is still growing of movies that you haven't seen, and just bang them out like just one right after another.
It's going to take a few weeks, but sign me up.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. Like, we got to get you caught up on all of the Matrix, because I don't know how you just didn't see that. We definitely got to get you caught up on Star Wars, because that's just, there's just no excuse for not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
And then I think there was like the Terminator was on that list. Like, we can do that in one weekend for sure.
Yeah. Never seen the Terminator, never seen the Matrix, never seen Star Wars, never seen Top Gun.
Wild stuff. I don't know how you're making it through the world without the backstory and like the history of these epic. I mean, they're not all epic. Let's be real. Top Gun was kind of a mess, but it was like the first movie like it. First movie with like people acting in jets and flying around and doing that whole thing. And then, the Matrix. This is the Matrix. You just got to see it.
I'd like to go back and watch the original Blade Runner.
I actually never saw that one.
Okay.
I never saw the original. I watched, what is it, 2047 or 2049 or whatever.
What do you think about that movie?
It looks really cool, but I didn't get it.
Dude, I loved that movie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to see it again.
I thought it was so good. I don't know. I thought it was so good. I really liked it. And that's what made me want to watch the original. But I mean, it was long and there are parts that are hard to follow. But I guess that's the point, right? Like,
I guess, having not seen the first one, I didn't really have any like context, but like, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like, cinematography was A tier.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I thought it was sick.
Yeah. You said you saw Dune.
Yes.
Okay. So another movie that I didn't have any context about, because I didn't know the stories. Apparently there was a Dune movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
But the clips that I saw were just laughable.
Yeah. I mean,
terrible.
It's the 80s.
Yeah. But these two movies, incredible, especially the second one, which is, it's not usually the case when the second movie is better than the first one. But that movie was so good. Like, I haven't seen a movie that is better than that since then.
Yeah. No, it was really good. And they also came out with a series now that's on HBO called Dune Prophecy.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah. See, if you can't tell, I like comic books.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase. I like comic book movies. I don't read comic books. Graphic novels, I guess I'm supposed to call them nowadays. But yeah, I like sci-fi, like, what do they call that? Some fantasy stuff. I like like a suspense thriller, good story, great characters, maybe a little spook here and there, but like nothing that's like intentionally trying to like scare you and like give you nightmares.
Yeah.
I used to get nightmares like from watching commercials when I was a kid. It was the worst. So I don't go out looking for that. Like, I remember distinctly, there's a movie called The Fifth Element. Or not The Fifth Element. Gosh, what's it called? The Fifth Element's a great movie, but it's not the movie that I'm thinking of. Event Horizon.
Okay.
Do you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
Do you ever see it?
No.
You should watch it. It is, they call it space horror or cosmic horror. Scary movie in space. So take anything that is a problem on Earth and just put it in a spaceship.
Yeah.
But it bombed at the box office, but it became a cult classic because it's like super unique and the story is really good. And the horror in it is like top notch. And I can appreciate a good movie when it's done well. That's one of those. It's like an exception to like horror movies that I really like.
Yeah. Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Is your Rode mic on, by the way?
It is on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We want to make sure that the people who are watching our live stream can hear us.
Dude, 100%, man. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I've dressed up as Thomas Shelby for like 3 years in a row.
Who's Thomas Shelby?
The guy from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I rocked the same haircut for a very long time, and it was just the perfect haircut for that. for that character.
Yeah.
And it's a fairly low effort costume.
Yeah.
You know, it's like throw a PJ, what do they call it? A pea coat? Yeah, pea coat. Yeah, throw like a long pea coat on and to get a flat brimmed hat and you're good to go.
Yeah, you're all set.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did one of my favorite costumes. This is like years ago when I started to think about taking costumes serious. You ever hear about the movie called The Purge?
Yeah.
You ever see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was one of the Purge guys, like the year that movie came out. And I like to have a little fun, like the little cheeky scare. This is one of those costumes where you can just freak people out.
Yeah.
So I got the mask, like this smiling face mask, and I just put on a suit. And I borrowed my friend's real machete. And I just went out walking around on Halloween, like by myself.
Yeah.
People were like running across the street for me. I would stand on the corner and just like tilt my head sideways ever so slightly and stare at them. I went to Sticky Rice because everybody was like dressed up and went to Sticky Rice. And I stood at the end of the bar and I just looked down the bar like this. And I'm holding like a full size machete. It's standing in the bar. And this girl like didn't see me there because it's kind of dark. And she turns over, spills her drink, screams, and like runs out. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? That was my favorite. Like I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I do remember the Halloween that Purge came out because it was like a crazy Halloween.
Yeah.
Like I actually do remember that.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sticky Rice, I got the tattoo, man.
That's right. What does that mean? Free PBRs when it's raining?
Yeah, so it's not free. It's dollar PBRs always.
Right.
So I think that they do dollar PBRs when it rains. But this means you get them anytime you want.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so when I was a 24-year-old living in first world poverty, I would call it, you know. It's not real poverty, it's first world poverty. Yeah. Where like you are kind of poor and you just ride a skateboard around, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would get like, you know, a handful of PBRs and a big bucket of tater tots and I was good to go.
That was dinner.
That was it, dude.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I wouldn't consider myself first world poor back then, but like I definitely did the go to Sticky Rice, eat tots, have a few beers, and not have dinner. Yeah. Because that was what you did.
Dude, I will say, I haven't been to Sticky Rice in a long time, but the tater tots, very good.
Top notch. They just, if you haven't been, you need to go. They're slept on. They just come in, they serve them all night long. So you can get a bucket. I mean, like, not a small bucket.
Yeah, it's a big bucket.
Big bucket of tots at like 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. It's incredible.
I don't know how good they are for you, but they are good.
I don't think that's the point.
Exactly.
It's just pure pleasure. Like you just don't worry about how it tastes. Don't worry. Well, I guess worry about how it tastes, but don't worry about the nutritional value. Yeah. It is delicious.
Exactly. Yeah. Sticky Rice, man. Some late nights.
Oh yeah. Sticky Rice, late nights. That actually reminds me, you know, I was thinking about some of the late night spooky story or spooky experiences that I had in Richmond. And back when I was a young hoodlum running the streets and hanging out all night, we used to like go out after the bars closed and like go to the park, go to the cemetery. Like we go to Hollywood Cemetery, walk around and like creep ourselves out, you know, maybe stay out there until the sun came up. Nothing creepy ever happened at Hollywood Cemetery, but me and a friend left the bar and went to Churchill and we went to Libby Hill Park. And in Libby Hill Park, there is like this community building thing there. It's like right on the edge of the hill. And because, you know, it's what you do when you're 20 something in Richmond, you just are a hooligan. Yeah. We went up there, we like picked the lock to the thing, creeped around inside because the building doesn't get used. Like nothing was ever being done there. But we're in there like 3 a.m. and we're like looking through like old files and like an old desk. It was creepy, but like exciting and fun.
And where is this?
This is in Libby Hill Park in Churchill.
In like a building?
Yeah. So if you're going to Libby Hill Park, you usually go towards Churchill on Broad.
Yeah.
And you take a right to go to Libby Hill. As you get to the street that it's on, I'm not sure which one it is. It's kind of like an L, a corner,
yeah.
right? And then there's the hill that goes down to Carey Street or Main Street. To the right of the park, if you're looking at the city view, to the right is a building that kind of sits next to the houses and on the edge of the hill. It's like a community building or like a city building. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just like snuck in there and like rummaged around and found like weird old files and all that kind of stuff. And we're like, I'm pretty sure this place is haunted. So let's get out of here. Fortunately, no spooky story out of that experience.
These like old buildings are weird. When I was just up in New York in the Catskills, I did this 5-mile hike, and there was this old hotel from like the early 1800s. And there was tons of like haunted stories about it because it had caught fire like multiple times over the course of almost 2 centuries. But then, there's barely any remains, there's plenty of remains, but it's just the structure of the building that is left. And all the trees and the roots and all the foliage and everything has grown through it. And it's really like quite beautiful during the day, at least. And so I did the hike, but then on the way back, it's dark and creepy and weird,
Mm-hmm.
And there's just plenty of, the mountains are like the perfect, breeding ground for crazy stories.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bigfoot or like crazy fires or weird mysteries and monsters and stuff.
Have you had any crazy like ghost stories or like paranormal experiences that like maybe stuff that happened to you, but when you think about it, you can't really explain what went down?
Yes. So I've had two like really weird ones. One from when I was younger, and then one a little bit later on. And they were both here in Richmond. So when I was probably 22, I was with my friend Jonathan, and we were in Shockoe Bottom, and we were by the Edgar Allan Poe Museum. And it would be easy to like write it off and say, oh, well, Edgar Allan Poe and the whole, that's the home that he grew up in, I believe. And or one of his childhood homes that's down there in Shockoe Bottom, I believe. And have you ever been in there?
No, I've never been.
Okay, so when you go in, there's just a bunch of old like relics and stuff from his past and old little trinkets and pieces of writing and stuff. And I haven't been in there in forever. I would love to go back, but he's kind of a creepy, haunted figure in himself. So the whole aura around Edgar Allan Poe is creepy and weird. Well, I was walking by there with my friend, and it wasn't Halloween. It wasn't April Fool's Day. It was like the middle of the summer. And so for the life of me, I don't know. I still don't know if this was real or not, but I remember I was like, that looks very real to me. And so we're walking by, and there was this big crowd, not even big. Like when I say big, it's maybe like 6 or 8 people. But there was a crowd of people standing outside of the fence of the museum. And they were all standing there like pointing and just looking and clearly sort of like in awe or in shock or just completely weirded out. And so we make our way over there to kind of see what the fuss is about. And we look, and there's literally just like this weird hologram looking thing. Like I want to say a ghost, but it was more like this just like spirit, like entity type thing. It wasn't like a ghost. It wasn't like a figure that you could easily make out. It was much more like a sort of like, it's so hard to describe. And that's why it felt so real. It's just like this green-ish sort of like entity spirit thing. And it just looked like it was like coming from another dimension. And I'm a huge skeptic. Like, I think everything is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, so for me to be like kind of fascinated by this, maybe says a lot. And I'm looking. And so of course I'm immediately looking for like a projector or like a light or something that's creating this, but it's out in the yard. And by all means, somebody might be like, yeah, they do that every year, but I've never heard of anything like it since. I've never seen anything like it since. And it was so strange. And then when you would try to take a picture of it, it doesn't show up in the picture.
Damn.
You know, it didn't show up on camera. And the thing that was like so weird is that the other people were so weirded out because I thought it was weird, you know, but I think a lot of things are weird. And I'm very fascinated by life in general. So like, I don't know. It was very strange, but that happened at the Edgar Allan Poe Museum when I was like 22. And I will say, like, it's not super foggy, but it is. I don't really remember all the details. I just remember how it felt. And I was like, damn, that's very strange, very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll probably remember it forever.
Damn, dude. That's creepy as hell.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Like it like had the sense of like a person, you know?
Right.
Or like the aura of like a person, but it wasn't.
See, you know, I couldn't. Nah.
Yeah.
I just, the thinking about the sensation is like, that's the creepy part.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything, thank God, because I think I would just lose my shit if I actually saw something like that. Because like I have a wild imagination, and that's why I had nightmares and shit when I was a kid. But I did have an experience that I couldn't explain, and I was surprisingly calm through the whole thing. And then when I think about it, and I was around my family, and like they were all there,
yeah,
but none of them saw or heard what I like experienced, and they're all like, "What? You sound crazy." So we were at this place called Wilderness Presidential Resort. It is like a campground, about 30 minutes out. And I was maybe 15, maybe 13, something like that. And I've got a younger sister and a younger brother. And I was out there with my parents. And we got an RV, and we like a camper, like a trailer camper, right on the lake. And there's like facilities and there's all this stuff you can do. It's a great place. So we're done with the day. We go back to the camper, and it's calling for rain. So we all started like getting ready to settle in, and my mom and her boyfriend at the time went outside, and they were going to sit by the lake and like watch the storm roll in. And in this RV, you walk in the door. It's like one of those trailer homes. So you walk in the door, and it's like a little kitchenette, couple of cabinets and a refrigerator. To the left would be a hallway. And then down that hallway to the left is a bedroom with 2 bunk beds in it. At the end of the hall is a bedroom for the master. And then to the right is the bathroom. Bed, me and my brother and sister are inside the camp house, like the trailer. I'm going to pull out a couch in the living room, and my brother and sister are on a bunk bed in the room just down the hall with the light on, because, you know, we were kids, wanted to sleep with the light on, you know, nightlight type of thing. And at the end of the hall is the master bedroom, but it's empty because my folks are outside. And as soon as I lay down, I hear like a little rolling thunder in the background. And otherwise, it's just like crickets, and it's very quiet. It's tranquil. It's nice. Then I hear something that sounds like shoes walking down the hallway, but not like tennis shoes, like dress shoes, like hard sole shoes, like clomp, 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 like definite footsteps. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And I just pop up and I turn and I look down the hallway. Nothing. The lights on in the bedroom where my brother and sister are asleep. And the door to the master bedroom is open, but there's no light on in there. And there's no one in the hallway. And my parents are outside. So I'm like, okay, definitely weird. It didn't freak me out. I was like, I'm just going to try and go back to sleep. Not 30 seconds later, clump, 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 clump. Like somebody walking towards me at a brisk clip with like dress shoes on. I'm like, okay, I definitely heard that. That's weird. And I get up, I go in the room. My brother and sister are asleep. The light's on in there. I look into the master bedroom, lights off, but there's no one in there. There's no one in the bathroom. No one else is in this trailer. Mom and stepdad or mom and boyfriend are outside. So I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything. I lay down again. Happens again. Clump, 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 clump. And I get up and I run outside because I was scared shitless now. And I'm like, there's someone here. There's like a ghost in the and they're like, what? they're like smoking a cigarette and just having like a regular old time. I'm like, I'm telling you, I heard footsteps in the trailer. It's a ghost. And they come in and they check. They see the room where my brother and sister are asleep. Nothing's going on in there. Master bedroom. Nothing's going on in there. There's nothing else that could be making this noise. And they're like, you're tripping. Just try and go to sleep. You heard the thunder and that's what it is. Just try and go to sleep. And they came in, they went to bed and I went to bed and I didn't hear anything else. And that was that. And I woke up the next day like, what the fuck? Like, what was that?
Yeah.
No explanation.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything, but it was legit the spookiest thing that's ever happened to me.
Haunted you ever since?
Yeah.
Because you still don't know.
I will never forget it either. It's wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever really had like an experience quite like that.
Where it was like you experiencing it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have some crazy dreams when I was a little kid, like some terrifying dreams about like clowns like eating my legs.
I feel like everyone's had a dream like that.
Yeah. And like I remember it scared the death out of me. Like it scared me to death when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I would wake up like terrified, you know, just having these crazy nightmares. But that didn't last very long. Like I do remember them, and I do remember that they seemed really vivid, like as a kid.
Yeah.
But I've never really had any like real life like phenomena that's like scared me like that. Now, there was a crazy, it was a crazy experience, but it was more or less me observing. Well, I'll just tell the story. So I was at the Science Museum here in Richmond, and I was there for like a late night party, like a networking party. And it was for my realtor at the time. Her name is Melissa Savenko. So shout out to Melissa. She's a really great local realtor.
Shout out Melissa.
Yeah. And she was having a party there like late at night. So the Science Museum was closed, and it was in like the main foyer there where they have that like pendulum thing right in the middle when you walk in. And we were there for the party. Everything was totally normal. And then as the party came to a close, these like paranormal specialists were showing up, like probably like 4 or 5 like black tinted out vans.
What?
Yes, like came and parked, and they were like loading in equipment, and we were getting like kind of rushed to get out of the building. And I'm like, dude, I'm so curious. Like, what is this? And so Melissa is telling us like, hey, let's pack up. Let's get out of here. We need to get out of the way so that these people can do their job. And I'm like, okay, what's the job? And we were told like, not, don't interact with these people. Just let's get packed up and get out. But I couldn't help myself. So I walked up, and they're pulling in like these crazy, tons of equipment, like almost looked like they were setting up for, I don't even know, like a music festival, but like all the equipment was different radars and scanners and weird stuff.
Yeah.
And so I went up to him and I was like, hey, I hate to bother you, but like, can you please tell me like, what are you doing? Like, what are you guys working on? Or what do you do? And they briefly explained to me, they said, well, the Science Museum is a place of a lot of paranormal activity. And I don't know the exact history of the building, but apparently it's been around a long time. And there are a lot of like paranormal reports of like from the security guards that work there at night.
Wow.
And
okay.
so
I could see that.
Yeah. And so the security guards at night report like hearing children in the building, like skipping and running and laughing. And screaming and stuff. And so then the security guards would spend hours like looking for children in the Science Museum, and they could never find anybody. And, at first they just kind of blew it off like, okay, that's strange. But then it became a serious thing because it's like, okay, are there people in the museum after it's being closed? And it happened so frequently that they literally hired a professional team to come in and try to figure out where these sounds were coming from.
That's wild.
And that's what they were there to do the job to do. And I mean, it was no joke, man. It was not like a conspiracy theorist with a clipboard. It was a team and multiple vehicles that showed up that were wheeling in tons of equipment. And I thought it was so interesting and weird and fascinating.
All right.
And unfortunately, I don't know the conclusion of the story because we weren't allowed to stay or find out.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I mean, it's spooky, but it's also kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd want to be there to like find out what happened next. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of haunted stuff in Richmond. It's an old city. But, you know, I haven't experienced a lot of it like firsthand. Just like my like one spooky story, fucking bless me for only having one, right? I think I can only handle one. I know people that have had numerous accounts, like numerous encounters with like spooks and spirits and all that stuff. And like you and I talk about this off camera a lot, is like, you know, there's not a lot of evidence that you can point to and like say, hey, that was a real thing. But there's so many like eyewitness accounts, legitimate study and documentation of something happening. So you can always say, okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm a believer. It's like, well, you don't really have to be a believer because these people didn't believe anything, yet it happened to them regardless of the fact.
Yeah.
So it's always the question of, if you don't believe in ghosts, then what do you think just happened? And if you don't have a good answer, you know, the mysteries remain unsolved.
Yeah. And I mean, not to get too enlightened here, but the way that we interpret the world is very strange, right? Like people, it's so easy to forget that like even our vision is inverted, right? So like everything we see is actually upside down. And then as we see it, it flips over, you know, our brain flips it over. And it's very strange to think about this, but you know, there's like the existential iceberg, you know, and like you find out these little things about reality. And the more you find out, the more you become like a nihilist and an existentialist.
Yeah.
But along that route is the discovery that like you are basically this thing that lives alone inside of your skull, right? Like our limbs and our eyes and our ears are all just like extensions of those things, right? Because imagine if you couldn't see and you couldn't hear, but you're still alive, you would literally just be alive inside your head. Like you would have hardly any like interfacing with the real world.
Yeah.
So we think about how fragile that is, right? Like how delicate a human being is. And we rely on all of these sort of like external things and weird parts of our body, like our eyeballs and just our flesh and our nerves and our limbs, to help us understand what's going around us. What's going on around us. But the truth is, we have no idea, you know, like there's light that we can't see. There's smells that we can't smell. There's so much happening that we can't interpret, and different animals can interpret it.
Yeah.
Right. Like dolphins can communicate in sonar. Snakes can sense what's going on around them with their tongues.
Did you know that dogs are notoriously known for being colorblind and having poor vision?
Yeah.
But that's because their smell makes up the other 80% of their vision. They smell in a completely different way than we smell. And they interpret those smells as things, and their brain converts them into interpretations of what their world is like. So when the dog is like sniffing the ground, it's seeing the ground. And when the dog is, you know, running up and chasing a smell, it's interpreting the world with an overpowered sense of smell. Because if you look at like the anatomy of a dog, and we're getting into the weeds with it, but the anatomy of the dog, the tip of its nose and the snout run directly to the tippity top of their head where their brain is. Their vision isn't great, but that's because their smell makes up the rest of their sight.
Whoa. So the $1 million question then is, why do they eat poop?
Probably because it smells good. It probably smells like shit to us, but it may smell good to them.
I mean, that must be the case, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow.
Also, think about it like this. Dogs are wild animals that we just like let hang out in our house. There's no rhyme or reason that we can come up with that'll make sense.
All right,
dogs do crazy shit.
Dogs in the bed or no dogs in the bed?
No dogs in the bed.
Okay, same. Can't
dogs
do it,
in the house, fine.
Sure.
Dogs on the couch, depends on the couch.
Yeah.
Dogs in the bed, absolutely not.
Can't do it, man.
No.
Can't do it. I mean, yeah.
That's look, I know it's a hot take. I've known a lot of dog owners over the years, and if you don't agree with them, then you might as well be a communist.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the dog should be in the bed.
Can't do it, man.
Somebody put this in like a perspective that we forget about all the time. Would you wear your shoes in the bed?
No.
Do you usually wear your shoes in the house? Probably not. Sometimes,
really.
But a lot of times you take them off, even if you've been in the house for a minute. You usually take them off, you put them in the closet, or you put them by the front door. Would you wear muddy boots in the house?
No.
Absolutely not. Your dog is a muddy boot because it's outside all the time, or when you're taking it out on the walks, it's rummaging through the dirt, it's smelling strange smells, it's peeing, and like the pee gets on the fur and it's pooping, and the poop is still on the dog's butt because you didn't wipe the dog's butt. You wipe your own ass, but you didn't wipe the dog's butt, and you're gonna let that dog lick and smell and sniff and put its face all over crazy shit around town, and then you let it lick your face, you let it lick your mouth, and then you let it lay on your pillow? No, absolutely not.
That is more terrifying than any spooky story
it really
we could
is.
ever tell.
It really is.
And
I know there's going to be like lots of comments about, well, the dog's mouth is very clean and it's very sanitary and they clean themselves by licking. I don't care. Don't care.
Yeah, that sounds like coping from a dog owner.
Yes.
I get it. Saliva is a bacteria that absorbs all the bad stuff in your mouth. Humans are like that too. I don't know, man.
No.
I don't think I'm going to be convinced. I'm also just way too much of a perfectionist and like OCD.
Yeah.
I love all animals. Like I love animals. They make me super happy and I love being around them. Show me any dog, dude. I'll give it a big hug and I'll fucking pet it and it'll be my best friend. But it's not going to get all up in under my sheets and stuff.
No. It's too wild. That's too much for me. It's too much. Now, no judgment, maybe a little judgment, but you do you live your life. You and your dog have a wonderful, companionship. You got to lint roll your pillows before you go to bed. You do you. All right. Everybody's got their thing.
Dude, that's rough, man.
That isn't a segue, but I'm just looking at this bottle you have over there on your table. What's up with this bottle that says spirits on it?
Yeah, I mean it's spiritless.
Okay.
So it has no spirit. But I'm ready for a drink.
Yeah.
If you'd like to try this.
Let's get it.
So this is a non-alcoholic espresso martini.
Oh yeah. That sounds really good.
I mean, I used to love an espresso martini, man. I mean, I love coffee in general, but
espresso martini is like the drink of 2025, man.
I mean, seriously, the drink of 2020 and beyond.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, it's very light caffeine, which is great. And it's an espresso martini. And I say,
let's crack it open.
Yeah, because the humidity level inside of the executioner's mask at the moment is like
is it getting too moist in there, huh?
It's a little steamy in here.
So I'm gonna take my mask off as well.
It's a little steamy, man. All right. Hello, world.
Hello. You can probably hear us a little better now, but
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So boom. So this is from the lovely folks at Folks?
You said folks, like a hard L.
Yeah.
Folks.
The folks at
yeah, your Virginia is coming out.
This is from the lovely people at Point Five, who are the sponsor of the Vera House podcast. And this is like the perfect thing for a little Halloween pick-me-up, right? Non-alcoholic espresso martini. Let's make sure we don't get it on our white chairs here.
Yeah, let's not do that.
And yeah, you know, I will say there's like a handful of drinks that I miss from drinking.
Yeah.
And it's like a really solid, like dirty martini, like not super dirty, just like lightly dirty, but just like a good classic dry dirty martini. Is a good one. I love a solid like gin and tonic, like or a Negroni, and an espresso martini, man. It's a good one.
I'll be honest, I've had a few espresso martinis.
What do you think?
They're delicious, but I'm not a coffee drinker. Right. I'm a tea drinker, green tea, matcha, white tea, black tea. I like it all. But, you know, no one's going to make a tea-based cocktail. And I do love the flavor of coffee. I just don't like to drink it, you know, for the caffeine. But I do miss a gin, like a gin fizz or like a gin and tonic. Yeah. Just that flavor is unparalleled, in my opinion. That, a good margarita, and I guess a Negroni as well. But they have the phony Negronis now. Yeah. There's a couple brands that make non-alcoholic Negronis, and they're really good.
They are.
Yeah.
You know, like I like the bitter tastes. Like, it's why gin was always like my go-to. Lovely glasses. Yeah. Right. Came prepared, man. So it's the classy Halloween special.
Yeah. Bringing out the good china.
Yeah, man. Give it a little,
Give it a good shake.
Give it a good Halloween salsa dance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, came prepared. So, for anybody who is sober curious or looking for an alcohol replacement, spirit replacement, NA beers, gluten-free beers, dairy-free alternatives, in any sort of scenario, right? You don't always have to be somebody who doesn't drink. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
You can be somebody who's just experimenting, right? I know there's been plenty of times where, you know, you're just not in the mood for a drink. Oh, and did you taste it?
Oh, dude. It's delicious. God damn.
Yeah, it smells amazing.
It's really good.
So 0.5, like, amazing people. This is where all of the beverages on this show come from. You can learn more about them and get 10% off of your next purchase by going to verahouse.co/0.5. So that's VERAHOUSE.co/point, POINT, and then the number 5. And there'll be a voucher there that you can bring in to your next shopping trip to 0.5, and you can use that to get 10% off your purchase. So cheers, man. Happy Halloween. This has been fun so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's money.
It's so good.
It's really good.
I mean, dude, it's light.
Yeah.
But it's full body, like it's rich, like a espresso martini would be. The coffee flavor is not overpowering. Yeah. Which is my takeaway.
I'm pretty pumped, man. This is actually really insane. Because if you think about a good espresso martini, there's actually not a lot in it. You know, like, sure, some people could add, you know, like some froth or some creamer or like something to it if they wanted to. You know, a little pumpkin spice action or something.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like the best espresso martini is just like classic espresso martini. Yeah. And this actually does taste like very, very similar to that.
This is tasty.
I know it's taken me back to like can sitting at the bar having an espresso martini, man.
So classy. Just get a couple of espresso beans, drop them in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever eat the espresso bean?
No. Are you supposed to? I always wanted to, but I was told you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
Knowing me, I'm sure that I have.
Overdose on caffeine.
Yeah. Did you know that coffee's a fruit? Don't ask me why I know this stuff, man.
I try not to spit out my drink.
Dude, so if you ever look up, all right, how much do you know about coffee?
I mean, none. Okay. I mean, I know that it comes from a plant.
Yeah. So coffee is like a fruit. It's like a little coffee fruit. And the coffee bean is the bean inside of the fruit.
Yeah.
And so people take the fruit and they eat it. It's not great, but people use it for all different types of things, as it's like loaded with antioxidants. And there's a huge misconception about coffee where people think like a dark roast coffee is really strong. And it's actually the opposite. Like the darker the roast of a coffee bean, the less caffeinated it is. So it may have like a more bold, darker flavor, but as far as its actual strength, it's not as strong because a darker coffee bean has been roasted longer, which means it's lost some of its caffeination.
And there you have it, your coffee lesson for today.
Yeah. So if you want a really strong coffee, you go with a light roast or like a blonde roast.
This is why he was hired at Starbucks as lead barista, but sadly had to turn it down.
Yeah, I took up this job instead.
Yeah. This pays well.
Yeah, dude, this is great. This is awesome. Definitely a fan.
Damn, man, that's damn, man, I'm gonna start drinking this instead of drinking coffee.
I'm just saying, man.
Damn, that's good.
I have like turned multiple people onto coffee that are like, yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I might have to get into it.
It's a good time. It's a good time, you know?
Yeah, that the spirits thing, like the Spiritless, I really like the branding behind Spiritless. It's like kind of cheeky, kind of funny, but it's just another example. And like, I remember we were at your house and I hadn't had one of the spirits, like the non-alcoholic spirit, like the liquor replacements. And I'm like, how good can these be? I've heard that they're not that great. And, you know, you can't really recreate the taste of bourbon. You can't really recreate the taste of tequila. And true, they're not one-to-one flavor replacements. But in the right context, they're the perfect substitute, which is, I didn't get because you don't really know what to do with them when you're looking at them on the shelf. But we're at your house and you're like, I'm going to make a cocktail. And this is like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like we had just gotten back from like riding bikes, I think, and we made a cocktail. I'm like,
yep.
You wouldn't want to make a rum cocktail or a tequila cocktail at 3:00 in the afternoon after a 12-mile bike ride.
Yeah.
But with these non-alcoholic spirits, you definitely can. And, you know, you basically just pour it over ice. You don't have to add anything. It's already ready to go. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
But then it made me think, it's like, okay, if I don't want to drink, but I want to go to this party and I know that they're not going to have any non-alcoholic spirits, I can buy a bottle of this, go there, pour it over ice, and I've got something to fill the empty hand. That's the thing that people don't realize is when you choose to not drink and you want to be social, everyone's going to look at you weird when you're not drinking anything.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want to have alcohol doesn't mean you don't need a drink. And it's like the social dynamic of a party or a social atmosphere means that you have to have something to sip on or something to snack on so that you're not just awkwardly not doing anything.
Yep.
Which is, you know, we designed it for our own, you know, amusement, I think, but this is a great substitute for that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and even, just cold NA beer or even NA wines, something like that. Like you can't, if you just saw this bottle, you would not think that it was non-alcoholic. You would think it's alcoholic,
right? Just
based on the bottle and the branding and the shape, right? So yeah, completely agree. And they're right here in Carytown. Like check them out, 0.5. Yeah. Some of the coolest stuff there for sure. So let's get a little spooky. So we talked about some of our own personal experiences, right? But there are some really crazy kind of legendary haunted stories about Richmond specifically.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, we've mentioned some of them on this podcast already, such as the Richmond vampire. We even talked about, you know, it's not really like a haunted story, but the Richmond mummy, the guy that just happened to be a mummy, you know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, in preparation for this episode, I was kind of curious as to what are the like haunted stories of Richmond.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting ones.
I knew that there were, but I never dove into it. I never looked into it. Like I know that I think maybe there was even like a Ghost Hunters episode filmed here years back. There's the haunted house tour, and it's been well publicized that Richmond as a whole is very haunted, but I didn't really go digging. I wasn't looking for a spook.
Yeah.
But also in preparation for this episode, I like how you just abbreviated EP there, just EP.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an industry term. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. The pod.
Yeah, for the pod. I did a little digging and I found a couple of stories. One in particular that was spine chilling. Let's just say.
I'll tell you this one, and then you have to tell me yours.
Okay.
So this is the story of the Iron Dog of Hollywood Cemetery. So tucked inside the peaceful hills of Hollywood Cemetery lies one of Richmond's most hauntingly tender legends, the story of Florence Rees and her faithful guardian. In 1862, Florence was just 2 years old when she died of scarlet fever. Her family buried her beneath a simple white headstone. But soon after, her father, heartbroken and desperate to protect his little girl even in death, brought something unusual to her grave: a life-sized iron dog statue. The statue wasn't just any ornament. It had once stood proudly outside a Broad Street shop downtown, a cast-iron Newfoundland that children often stopped to pet. Legend says that Florence adored the dog statue, and when she passed, her father asked the shop owner if he could take it to watch over her. The man agreed, and the heavy sculpture was carried by wagon into the cemetery where it still sits today beside her headstone. Over the decades, visitors began noticing strange things around the Iron Guardian. People walking the winding cemetery paths at dusk have heard the distinct sound of a dog barking in the distance, even though no animals are allowed inside the cemetery. Others say that they've heard a low growl when stepping too close to the child's grave, only to find themselves utterly alone. Groundskeepers who have worked there for years talk about how the iron dog seems to shift slightly over time. Its head is angled differently, or its posture is subtly changed. No one ever admits to changing or touching the dog statue. For more than 160 years, that statue has stood watch over Florence's resting place. It's said that when you visit the iron dog, you should approach it with kindness, because whether or not the spirit of the loyal Newfoundland truly lingers, the love it represents certainly does. So it's kind of an interesting story because there's a lot of different reports where people will go there and the statue is positioned differently than the last time that they saw it.
Creepy.
Yeah. And that
they'll be, that.
Yeah, it's strange. And you'll be near there and you can hear a dog as if it's nearby or even in the distance within the cemetery walls, right? Because there's no homes around Hollywood Cemetery.
Right.
There's nothing, you have Oregon Hill that's kind of nearby, but not close enough to where you'd be hearing a dog growling.
Yeah, that's creepy.
It's
man.
Weird.
God.
What you got?
Look, there is something to intentionally scaring yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that. I like a good story because a good spooky story is well designed to just give you the willies.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of it. I don't like so much so that it becomes a real thing. And like I mentioned before, I have a very vivid imagination. It doesn't take much for me to be okay, there's a monster outside. I'm freaked out now. Right?
Yeah.
Just leave that in your back pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I did my digging for a story about, spooky stuff in Richmond, I came across something that it's one of these stories that we've heard versions of before, but I never would have imagined that there was a version of it here. A werewolf. A werewolf in Henrico. It's actually called The Werewolf of Henrico.
Okay.
And this story dates back, I think, to the early 80s. Is one of the first accounts.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of legend. They're just accounts of something that resembles what we know of as a werewolf. And what I found was the Henrico werewolf is typically spotted around the Confederate Hills Recreation Center, which is a very open space with some patches of trees here and there, and no one has seen it leave. It's typically described as black, dark gray, or just gray with touches of silver or white. It's also described as being 6 foot tall, typically walking on 2 legs until spotted, then runs on all 4s. The first sighting is unknown, and most sightings are reported anonymously with no date, so it's hard to pinpoint how old the creature is and if it's still running around. Most people report that it runs away in fear, but occasionally will run after people. Some people said it growled and barked at them, while others say it just stared at them until they noticed it and it ran away. Some people say some people said it ran at them almost playfully. People have also said they hear it howling at night, mainly on full moons. One woman reported that the werewolf slowly walked up to her, and just as its face was about to come out of the shadows, it noticed it and ran off. One man says he lives near the recreation center and that he and his neighbors have seen and heard it multiple times and fear it. And there's a handful of these accounts. One account that I heard in more detail was of a woman and her kids at home in Henrico County. And this woman heard some commotion outside and thought it was the kids, checked on the kids, and it wasn't the kids. Kids also heard the commotion. She said that she heard what sounded like howling and then what sounded like screeching. And she realized that the screeching was someone scratching on the door, the back door to her house. And then she noticed the floodlights outside flickering on and off as if something was moving around under the motion lights. So she didn't look outside because she didn't want to be seen. She goes outside with a flashlight out the front door, goes around back, sees something that she describes as 6 to 7 feet tall, standing on 2 legs, covered in hair, with the hands up against the window where her children were. When she sees it, it looks at her in the eyes. It has yellow eyes. It looks almost like a man, but still very much like a wolf, brown fur. It approaches her a little bit, growls, and then runs away on all fours. The next day, she notices that there were scratches on her door, scratches on the windowsill where her children were, and like claw or like big footprints right at the base of in the yard where the window was. But there were no other footprints that she could find. Shit like that scares the fuck out of me.
That's crazy.
Excuse my F-bomb, because there are multiple accounts, and this isn't in Oklahoma or in the Midwest or in California. This is down the street.
Yeah. Whoa. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I have a close friend whose mom got attacked by a bear.
What?
Yeah. Like in the Shenandoah, like literally attacked by a bear. Like she's got a huge bear claw scar.
Oh, good Lord. And I guess that makes me think like maybe these people saw a bear.
I mean, maybe.
Because you describe a bear, all fours until it like stands.
And it can stand
up. When it runs on all fours. It has big claws, brown fur most of the time. It doesn't really look like a person, but it also doesn't look like a dog or a wolf.
Yeah.
And like all of these accounts say that it is a dog man. No one says wolf man, which is interesting. They call it a dog man because it looks kind of like a dog.
Yeah. That's so interesting, right? Because like, I feel like your instinct would first be to think it's a bear, right? Like we live in Richmond. We live in Virginia, right? Like we live in Richmond, but I mean, a bear in Virginia is not that crazy. And if someone saw a figure that was like you mentioned, like brown hair on its hind legs, 7 feet tall, you would probably say a bear. So, but the fact that someone would say, well, no, this is like a dog, like a big dog, or like a werewolf, or like a wolf man, or a dog man. Very strange.
You know what this reminds me of? We were talking about it when we went to the sauna like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Skinwalkers.
Yeah.
You ever heard about skinwalkers?
Yes, but I don't know a lot about it.
I do, because I was obsessed with them during lockdown. I found the stories about them, I think on YouTube. And then I was hooked because I'd never heard anything quite like it. I heard ghost stories. I heard werewolves. I heard about the Yetis. I heard about the cryptids is what they're called.
Yeah.
Is like these mythical, legendary creatures that are werewolves, Bigfoot, a Yeti, the abominable snowman, a Wendigo, a chupacabra. Those are all cryptids. They're like supposed to be descendants of the mammalian family, but they were like gene splits and there's only 1 or 2 of them alive. Yeah. Kind of thing. And skinwalkers aren't that. They're weirder. In Utah, in the Uinta Basin is where it is. There is a patch or a part of land where all of these sightings took place. It doesn't happen really anywhere else. It's just in this basin between two mountain ranges. And these like accounts go back decades. And there are, I mean, from like the Great Expansion out west, like the Wild West, like 16s, 15s, 1400s, these accounts go back that far. And they're all very similar, but the modern accounts are of men or women that resemble Native Americans, standing about average height, 6 foot, 5 foot, that have seen either becoming a wolf or a wolf becoming them, like shapeshifters. And what they see is when they see the wolf version has crazy features. It is on its 4 legs, almost 5 feet tall. So really, really big, covered in brown fur, but that's kind of bushy and woolly. Big, long snout, crazy teeth, big eyes, big ears, big paws, and almost like if it was a big man on all 4s, right?
Yeah.
And then when it shapeshifts back into a person, it looks like a big or like a tall person, like a tall man or woman. And it's said that there's a couple of accounts that really got under my skin. It was accounts of someone who owned a piece of land in the basin, which has now been deemed the like sighting of other paranormal activity. But the Skinwalker was the biggest one. Guy and his son are on this homestead. They're out attending to their cattle. They are used to hunting and they're used to scaring off wolves. So they carry shotguns around or rifles. One day, the son is out there and the dad is in like the barn, and the son sees the cow getting attacked by a wolf. It's in the middle of the day. And the son isn't near the cow, but he sees that the cow is being attacked by a wolf. And the cow is usually in a pen with other cows in like a fenced in area. And he sees the wolf reach his head through the pen and bite the cow. So the son yells to the dad, and the dad runs out with the rifle. And he says he sees the wolf, but it's not like a wolf that he can really hasn't ever seen before. It's bigger and browner. And it's got the cow by the leg. And it's just like, you know, pulling him back and forth, trying to get him through the fence. So the guy takes aim, shoots the wolf, sees the wolf get hit and sees a chunk of the wolf fly off. And the wolf doesn't flinch, bites down on the cow harder and like shakes him around. He shoots the wolf again, doesn't flinch. He shoots the wolf a 3rd time. It lets go and like looks at him and then turns around slowly and walks away. And then he shoots at it again and misses. And then the wolf runs away, goes to the cow. Cow's pretty well wounded. He goes to look where he shot the wolf, and there's a big chunk of flesh that's covered in fur laying on the ground. Later that night, they hear a bunch of commotion, and they come out and found not just that cow, but all of the other cow mutilated and skinned. And this is where it gets a little crazy. This is a part of this whole legend, urban myth telltale, is like the Skinwalkers are Native American descendants, or they looked like they were Native American descendants that can shapeshift into wolves. They torment people that come into their land. They skin the cows, they mutilate them, and they can do all of these other crazy things. There's talk of like portals. There's talk of flying saucers. It is nuts. And I was obsessed with it.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I like the portal talk. All right. I like portals.
Yeah.
Did you know there's hieroglyphs in the Grand Canyon?
I did not know that.
Did you know that there were thousands of years ago, there were camels in North America?
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, man. Like there's some crazy
look
stuff.
It up.
Yeah, look it up, dude. Hashtag look it up. There's some crazy stuff that's gone down here. And a lot of it is like in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Also Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
Like crazy stuff goes down in Alaska.
That's kind of nuts.
But the Native American thing, dude, I got to put my mask on for this story. I wonder if you've heard this story. It's actually really, it's probably one of my favorites that I found. All right. I thought it was easily like the coolest, also most terrifying and legitimate spooky story.
Yeah.
Based here in Richmond. Quite interesting, to be honest.
Okay. So, are you ready?
Hit me.
Okay. You're familiar with 895, the highway?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Pocahontas Parkway?
Yeah.
Okay. If you've ever driven Route 895, the Pocahontas Parkway, late at night, you know how empty and eerie that stretch of road can feel. But few realize that it was built over top of sacred native ground. During construction in the early 2000s, crews uncovered ancient Powhatan tribal sites, burial mounds, and artifacts dating back thousands of years. Work continued on the highway anyway, and soon after the highway opened, people started reporting things that could not be explained. The first major incident came from a truck driver one summer night. He swore that he saw 3 Native American warriors standing in the middle of the highway holding torches. He slammed on his brakes, he blinked, and they were gone. He pulled into the toll plaza to report what he had seen. Police went to check it out, but there was nothing. Then a lot more reports started rolling in, and toll booth operators began hearing the sound of drums echoing from the nearby woods. Sometimes it was a faint, rhythmic beat. Other times it was loud enough to rattle the glass of the cars. They'd step outside, shine their flashlights into the trees, and the sound would stop. Even state troopers patrolling the parkway after midnight have described seeing shadowy riders on horseback galloping silently alongside their vehicles before vanishing into the fog. And on some nights, the toll plaza staff say that they can feel a rush of cold air as if a car just sped past, only to find that there's no vehicle on the cameras and no tire tracks on the pavement. Locals call it the Poca-haunted Parkway. Some say that it's the spirits of the land, disturbed but not vengeful, just reminding travelers that this stretch of road was not always meant to belong to them. To this day, these stories continue. Even the most skeptical admit that there's something unsettling about that highway, something ancient, like someone's watching. If you ever find yourself alone on 895 at night, turn down the radio and listen closely. You might just hear the faint sound of drums in the distance.
Ooh, I like that one.
Dude, it's pretty crazy because there's actually a lot of legitimacy to this story. There are people who have actually camped out on the side of 895 to monitor and listen for these things, and they confirmed that they do hear it.
We should do that.
We should.
Yeah.
Dude, we should.
Okay.
But I thought that was so interesting. I mean, it's Pocahontas Parkway, and yeah, it's Virginia. There's plenty of native and tribal ground around here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts, man. If you go into there's a lot to it, obviously. The founding of America is very strange. It's all very strange.
Yeah.
And then you get into the symbolism and stuff on our money and our government buildings and all this stuff. Very fascinating. But that was probably the weirdest, most convincing, strange story that I came across.
Yeah. For being in Richmond or in Virginia and being so well documented by so many different types of people, toll booth workers, citizens, state troopers. Yeah. That's the best one for sure.
It's very, very weird. And I had the same thought. I was like, oh man, I want to camp out on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
I don't know why that sounds fun to me, but
we should definitely do that.
We should.
Hang on. Do you hear that?
I do hear that. What is that?
I don't know.
Should we maybe?
Yeah, go and see. It's so weird.
We should probably stop the live stream. Hang on.
Yeah, just pause the live stream.